What's going on, CALIVEGANs, and welcome into another episode of the CALIVEGAN podcast. Today is push day, and I'm going to help you, talk more about training and how to build muscles with calisthenics. And as always, we start with the first set, which made a mistake. This is not the right band to start with. But first thing you're going to notice is why I got this ugly thing on my head. And the thing is, before I was using my chain to hold the mic, but it was hitting the floor all the time. So this way it makes less annoying sounds and the podcast sounds better. All right, so last week I've done three sets of 3 repetitions. I'm going to try and do 3 for my first set. Okay, this is the first tip that I'm going to give you. And we had this conversation on Instagram. Do not bring to failure every single set. Actually, what you want to do is it's really saving some energies, especially in your first set of each exercise. Your first set is just to test the ground, see how you're feeling today, so you know how much to push in the following sets. I think it felt good, and I think I can go for 4 reps for the following. And so here's the thing, right? So many people, when you hear these bodybuilding guys, they put emphasis on the fact that you need that failure and push your muscles to failure in order to stimulate them to grow. And that's true, but that's only one factor. What's also important is that you spread correctly the intensity throughout the workout. And so often people, what they do, they start the workout by pushing their first sets to the limit. And what you're doing is you're ruining your whole workout. Said this in the past, say it again. So what you want to do for your first set, keep it kind of easy, right? Just test how it's going. So based on how you feel, you can do better for your following sets. Planche push-ups, 3. And you want a mixture of it, right? Because I know so many people, they also used to do drop set for their last set all the time, or they just pause for 15 seconds and then they do more repetitions, then pause and then they do more repetitions. But you don't need to bring every single set or every single exercise to that kind of failure in order to get results. Some people, I think, get confused because they think that all it matters is that hard part of the workout, like the most difficult exercises, especially in calisthenics. And but that's not true. Like, if you cannot do any more pull-ups at the beginning of your workout, you're wasting your time if you're trying to push through the motion and break the form just because you want to add repetitions. You'll be much better off stopping right there and moving on to the next easier exercise, all right, and put better effort into it. let's say is assisted chin-up with the band, right? It's better you are fresher to do proper repetition with your assisted chin-ups rather than burn your energy doing bad form pull-ups, okay? And then not being able to do properly the assisted chin-ups. I hope my form is good because I'm struggling a little bit, so maybe my hips are a little high. So now, you want to have fun while you train, right? You don't want a boring workout. This is probably one of the reasons why you're not motivated to go to the gym. And I was the same. I actually started my fitness journey in the gym. I did find motivation in it because I like to push and lift heavy weights, and I liked how my body was changing and how I was getting results. But it got to a point where, like, just lifting to grow muscle, it wasn't that stimulating, right? It started to become boring, and therefore I started to lose a little bit my motivation, and it started to go up and down until, and I started to mix things up. I wasn't my training didn't have a direction. I was more like maintaining my physique and my strength and doing some circuit training to stay fit. Until I found calisthenics. Calisthenics was great because I saw these guys that were muscular, but at the same time they were able to do these crazy calisthenics moves like muscle ups, front lever, and planche. And so it was something that motivated me again to take training more seriously and with passion. But it got to a point where, because my training plan wasn't that thought out, okay, so was a little bit messy in the beginning, my motivation also wasn't very high because, I liked calisthenics, I liked to practice it, but at the same time I was just pushing a lot and pushing hard, but I didn't really know where I was at and what was my direction. I was trying all of these hard moves and they felt impossible to me, and then I realized that not everyone's journey is the same in calisthenics. It's just like in weight. You're not going to go below a 150 kilogram barbell and trying to bench press it, right? You're going to start with 60 kilograms and then 70 kilograms, and maybe you will not get to that 150. Maybe you are lighter and your absolute strength is not going to get there, or maybe yes. However, I learned that it's more important to have a progression in exercises that's tailored to me. Don't rush my progress towards those more advanced stuff, but focusing more on the progress that I'm making within my workout and doing the things that I can focus on with good technique. And that really motivated me to be consistent with my workout, being happy about working out because I know that I'm making progress within what are my capabilities rather than unrealistic expectations. And so my point here is that, yes, it's true that we want to do a kind of training that we enjoy, right? So we're doing things that we are enjoying, that is not too repetitive or boring, but at the same time, you need some structure, because without structure, you don't get results. If you don't get results, you are not motivated to be consistent. So start thinking of how can you make a workout plan that's tailored to you and is going to allow you to consistently make progress over time. If you do that, you will find more motivation into your strength and calisthenics journey. I do 6 repetitions. It's a little crazy, right? I would like to see the replay. So yeah, so do something that you like and do something that you enjoy, but at the same time, having a structure, do the things with a direction and a plan, even though it can sound boring, but it makes you happier because you have a direction, or at least that's what's working for me. And you know, the problem is so many people, me included, think that calisthenics skills and calisthenics movements are like, you know, learning how to cartwheel or learning how to do a somersault or a backflip. What I mean is that you try again, and eventually you get it. And there is a lot of calisthenics athletes out there, advanced champions calisthenics athletes out there, that actually got there by doing this, trying. But you need to understand that those people are, you know, have elite genetics. Most of the time, these people would not be heavy calisthenics athletes, would be very light calisthenics athletes. So what I'm saying is that, for example, to learn a full planche, for most people, is not going to happen if you just try the full planche, because it's going to be so hard for you that the form is going to be so shitty that you're never going to effectively train with that progression of the planche. So you need to find your starting point that allows you to focus on technique and make that exercise effective, and slowly make progress. Like, for example, with my planche push-ups, what I do is I've started with my hard band. I slowly brought the repetitions up to 7, okay? Usually I stay lower, but you know, I've been able to get them up to 7. And once I go to 7, I say, okay, I'm definitely able to do at least 3 repetitions with less support, which it's 3 band. You might think is more, but it's less, because it's like there's a medium and 2 very small one, a small one, and a very small one. So that's what you want to do. You need to find your own progression in calisthenics and understand that it's not about just learning a technique. It is a progression in strength, right? Again, going back to the bench press example, okay? You don't learn how to bench press 150 kilograms by trying to lift 150 kilograms. You go step by step, and the same thing, it's for calisthenics. Whew. Ooh, that was hard. Right. Next, handstand push-ups. I didn't even count the repetitions. And then we have a beautiful... So what I like to do is, cleaning the mat before each repetition. It really helps. Let's get this away. It's ugly. And another thing that I was mistaking in the beginning of my calisthenics journey was kind of relate to this, right? Thinking that calisthenics skills are more like techniques that you learn and not strength movement. What I would do is I would spend almost 1 hour doing maybe 5 different exercises of front lever, for example, so specific to a calisthenics skill. And after that, I will kill myself with pull-ups. So I was doing all this volume and I wasn't really making much progress. I was frustrated as well because it started to get me injured. Often I had shoulder injury all the time in my first 2 years of calisthenics. And then as I started to learn about programming and the right amount of volume and start prioritizing the technique of exercises, not trying to just go for the hardest movement because that's what I want to do, but rather focusing on the progression and the exercise that I can master and I can do with good or perfect form. Once I started to do that, my progress started to really do like that, like upward curve consistently. So you don't need that much volume to progress. I actually have one of my friends that lives in London that just had 2 sons. And he told me that because of that, he needed to shorten his training to only 25 minutes. It's crazy, 25 minutes. But he says that he has been able to organize it in a way that is still making progress. So you see, it's about how you organize your workouts, not how much you do. So quality over quantity. That wasn't a good set, actually. So now the way you want to structure the workout is you want the first exercise to be strength specific. So 3 to 5 repetitions. The second and the third I would do a minimum of 5 or 6 up to 8. And then the last exercise, it would be something more high in repetitions, more hypertrophy focused, and that would be 8 to 12 or even 15 repetitions. I personally don't like to go up to 15 reps. It's kind of boring, but you can do that. That's still going to be effective both for strength and muscle growth. And so for 4 exercises per workout, they are more than enough. You probably be good with even 3 exercises. What's important is that you do at least 15 sets per week per muscle group, right? So obviously you need a second push and pull workout. You can do it together just like I do it. I do an upper body workout. That's my last workout of the week, and this way I do well over 15 sets per week per muscle group. I probably do around 25, I think, something like that, 25 sets per muscle group. And don't get me wrong, you can make progress even if you do 10 sets per week, actually, as long as you're doing them with the correct rep range, especially when it comes to build muscle, right? You want to have that hypertrophy stimulus of 8+ repetitions in one set, but you're going to have a slower progress. So apparently science says that the more you work out, the better results you get, the faster results you get. But obviously if you do more volume, it needs to be well planned. It doesn't have to be just stupidly go hard like I was doing when I started my journey. Whew, all right. Better than the first one who got 6. So you probably very far away from doing handstand push-ups, but something that I suggest you, if you want to get into handstand and handstand push-ups, is don't kill your strength progression in vertical pushing by forcing yourself to be able to do free handstanding push-ups or a frog stand to handstand, all these kind of presses to handstand that requires both strength and balance. If you only focus on doing those exercises freestanding, you might going to kill your progress, because balance is difficult. Like learning a handstand is difficult, and if you have to do some strength, so if you need to exert strength while you do this exercise, you might end up not being able to do neither balancing, neither pushing. So what I suggest you do is separate the two things. So practice your balance on the side at the beginning of your workout, practice some handstand drills so you get better at balancing. And then when you do handstand push-ups, for example, which is actually something that I've done right now. So right now I have, you cannot see it, but there is a wall on the, on that direction. All right. So if I lose balance a little bit, I can use the wall to help me. And I don't really care that happens, because right now the focus is strength, is not balance. So this is something that I've always done, right? I never forced myself to do when my balance wasn't as good as it is now, for example. I would always use the wall, and I would not over focus on maintaining the perfect handstand or anything like that. No, because if your balance is not very good and you force yourself to try and look for that balance while you're doing strength training, what's going to happen is that you kill your progress in your strength progression. So allow yourself to have the wall, and with the time, eventually, you're going to get better at balance, and you're going to be able to do these exercises without the wall. Fuck me. All right, that's... Another thing about handstand push-ups is that you never know what's going to happen. Because even though you have a wall there, whether you fall or don't fall, it depends also how good you are with the balance. I am not that precise, so I'm always doing little adjustments. And so these little adjustments make the repetition so much harder sometimes. And so you never know what happens in your workout. Sometimes I do five reps and they feel super hard. I remember one day I've been able to do 4 sets of 7 repetitions, and they kind of feel easy. So, handstand push-ups is really a long-term journey. You don't have that clarity in the progression. You kind of have to accept that. But at the same time, is my favorite movement, is my favorite exercise, handstand push-ups. My girlfriend likes watching me doing handstand push-ups. Sí. She likes it. She loves it. But definitely a lot of patience when you want to progress with calisthenics. You don't want to rush things. We don't need to rush things, right? We need the training to be something that grows with us in life. We don't want to be something that makes us even more stressed about life because we want to achieve that fitness results. No, you have fitness and training on the side, and you slowly make progress. There is no rush. And also, I'm going to tell you something else. Like, I am all about patience and slow progress. But I tell you something else. I don't really believe in faster progress. I don't believe that different training style would make a lot of difference when it comes to my progress, for example. Actually, I've been with a personal trainer before, a calisthenics trainer, and he gave me a shit workout, and I couldn't make any progress, and he was supposed to be a calisthenics champion. So what's important is that if you are making progress within your training, that's all it matters. You don't need anything else. You don't want to be faster in your progress as long as you make progress. That's it. Eventually, your slow progress will get you to places that you never even imagined. So, what I've done now is that there was no way I would have been able to do another repetition, so I focused on try to control the negative and hold the bottom. So in the beginning I told you not to focus on bringing every set to failure, because then you're not fresh, you know, you don't have those energies for your following exercise, which again, it is important. You know, like sometimes you just need to accept that you're not making progress for your main lift exercise that day. Just accept it. You can just keep the same. You don't have to push for those extra ugly reps, because if you're training properly and you are actually making progress week after week, you're probably getting stronger, and this extra strength, it's also going to reflect on your second exercise, right? Same muscle group, of course, pushing or pulling. And perhaps if you don't waste energy doing ugly repetitions in your first exercise, but you move directly to the second one, you're probably going to be able to make progress in your second exercise, and that progression in strength, those extra reps or extra sets, is probably going to allow you to do more for your main exercise, your following workout. Now, I didn't say what I wanted to say, but at this point I'm just going to tell you after this set. Nine, 11, 11. This is what happened last week. 9. So now we are at the end of the workout. The last exercise, the last sets. Here we can care less about, being so clean when it comes to getting to failure, right? We are at the end. We want to finish the workout, finish the muscle, give all you have. So it's okay. It's not that it's not okay to push earlier in the other exercises, but it's just that in your last sets, your last exercise of the muscle groups that you're working, it just makes more sense because that's the end and you want to give your all. So we did 6 handstand push-ups and dips with 32 kilograms. We've done 9. I don't know if I can match last week, because I already done more repetitions on my first exercise. So the volume is increased, and this is the other side of the coin of making progress. Before I told you don't overstress if your main exercise doesn't progress, so your first exercise of the workout, because you're going to progress in your second one. But in the same way, if you do increase the volume and the intensity of your first exercise, then you might have a step back in your following exercise, but that's okay. That's okay. You need to accept that as part of the journey. Actually, something that really matters, like for example, before, when I was going to the gym, I was 18 years old. I wasn't really tracking my workout, and when I was just pushing hard, and I was pushing hard when I was lifting less weight as well. And what that taught me is that consistency compound, and sometimes even though you feel like you're doing less, you're still doing enough if you're pushing yourself to the limit. Sometimes you feel weaker, but there are different factors that can make you feel weaker, but that doesn't mean that you're not making progress. Because sometimes doing hard things when your body is more tired and weaker, it actually stimulates progress. So that's why consistency compound, and it's so important. No way I'm doing 11. Whew. Going to do 10 again for the last set. Woohoo! By the way, it's also my third week without creatine. So what do you think? Am I smaller? Am I smaller without creatine? How do the bodybuilders do? No, it's like this. No.
Because the diet as well, not only because the creatine.
Yeah, I'm also doing a caloric deficit. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But you know, strength-wise or energy-wise, I don't feel that it affected me to be without creatine. So this goes to show again that supplements are, you know, just supplements, and they are well marketed as something that make a huge difference, something that is necessary when it's not. And frankly, this is a new way of looking at creatine. It is true that it's a well-studied supplement and is safe, but it's still something that's chemical, and it's made on a lab. And there are also studies on the kind of negative effect, which are minimal, but there are some of them. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly. I'm kind of talking random right now. But I guess what I want to say is that I prefer to not take something that is made in a lab, right? And eliminate the risk of this thing having some, you know, negative effect on my body. Because at the end of the day, anything that is changing the natural way at which your body function, it's not going to be that good, is it? Now, I'm not demonizing supplements or creatine. It's just a thought, you know. And then now here is where I get it to the absolute limit, when I go to failure, and I do it for my push and pull workout. My last exercise would be some basic movement like dips or pull-ups for my pull workout. And I do 3 sets, going for 10 plus repetitions. And then for my last set, I drop the weight and I go to failure. Usually what I do to go to failure is once I cannot do any more repetitions, I just stop for 15 seconds and I add some more reps with the same weight. I could also, for example, for dips, take away the weight completely and add some body weight repetition. That's also a good way to go. Do you know the bald guy? You know, resonance periodization, the bodybuilding scientist, the sports scientist. He made this video on YouTube where is listing the 10 most common mistakes that people do when it comes to to building muscle. And I really, really don't agree with the statement that he has done on protein and calories. And I'm going to tell you why after my last set. We're going to wait for it in peace, together, in silence. Let's keep it like this. So he said, there is no amount of training that's going to make you grow if you don't eat enough calories and protein. And I hate that statement because it's just not true. Simply not true. And this is what most fitness enthusiasts and experts online are saying. So what is this guy saying is that if I get stronger, so if I actually go to the gym, I have a workout plan that makes sense with a good stimulus for muscle growth, with 15 plus sets per week, I'm doing, 70 plus repetitions per workout. I make progress over time, but no, if this is happening, but your protein and calories are not on point, you're not going to build muscle. That's absolutely bullshit. Bullshit. That's just not true. I don't know why they focus so much on this thing. I agree to the fact that if you don't eat enough calories to the point that you don't have enough energies to progress within your workout, then okay. But here's the thing. Shouldn't we think first about training? So let's make sure that training is right. And then if you cannot progress, then maybe it's the nutrition. All right? Of course, you can do both things well at the same time, but saying that no amount of training is going to fix a bad diet, that's just not true. Because if you are making progress within the workout, that's the stimulus that the body needs in order to get stronger and build muscle. If you sit on a sofa, you eat a bunch of calories and you eat a bunch of protein, nothing is going to happen. Training is the number one thing to build strength and muscle. Well, guys, thanks for watching. If you are a vegan man who wants to build muscle, but you just don't want to keep wasting your time trying different methodology that haven't worked for you, and you're not motivated because you don't have a path of progression, just go to my Instagram, Stefano Vegan Calisthenics, and send me a DM saying CALIVEGAN, and we can have a conversation about my coaching program, your goals, your struggle, and how a solution together would look like. Leave a like, comment, share this with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.